Hi everybody. Today I'm going to show you a super quick, super easy, super cheap way to insulate old double hung windows. My house is over 100 years old. It's got some very old windows in it. These even have some of the original antique glass in it with the waviness and little bubbles in it and things like that. And of course the windows are just as old. They're rattly. They have a lot of air infiltration, so I'm going to show you a super quick, super easy way to negate the air infiltration with just the super cheap plastic wrap and a putty knife. That's all it takes. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is just actually pop open the window a little bit, get a whole bunch of this stuff. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to pop the roll right out of the box to make it easier. Just take a whole bunch of this stuff, wad it up, lay it along the bottom right there. And the looser the window is, the more you just cram right in there. Kind of like that. Go ahead and push the window down against that. And that's going to get the bottom seal started. Now we do still have a lot more work to do here on this. Next thing we're going to do is go up to the upper part. Okay, the next thing we do is, with the window still just open just a little bit, we're going to get some more plastic packed into the space between the front pane and the back pane. Now my windows have a little kind of metal interlock back here, and what I try to do is get the plastic kind of down in there to interleave with the metal interlock. Again, you really shouldn't be shy using this plastic when you get it down in here, because it is, quite frankly, rather cheap for insulation. Alright, let me see if I can get a slightly better shot of that. Of course, besides showing how old and seriously messed up my windows really are, you can kind of see the way I've got the plastic packed down into that crack there. Alright, and once I've got the plastic kind of in place down in that crack, I'm going to go ahead and start pressing the window down into its completely shut position. And don't worry about having any extra plastic sticking out. You see, I'm going to use the putty knife to pack it down a little bit. But that plastic is really incredible because it's very compressible, but it also expands to fill any extra space. That's why it's such a good material to use for this kind of thing. Once I get the window set down, I'm going to go ahead and set the lock. So now my window is locked down, and I've got the plastic along the bottom and the plastic in there to stop the air infiltration. Alright, I might take the tool thing back. Might need a couple more. This is just a smaller screwdriver and a little hex tool, nothing special, but these are going to be used to help pack the plastic down into some of the other odd-shaped crevices. You can see I'm going to go ahead and get some of this extra plastic jammed down into the area around the sash weight string to keep the air infiltration from going on there. But then, of course, back to my cheap roll of plastic. You get it out, and here's where you can just start going around the window, get this stuff jammed in here. And the cool thing about using this plastic is it's very, very flexible in terms of how much space it can fill in. You can see I'm just jamming it in there with the putty knife, and then I can kind of just push it up to the point where it's bunched up enough that it completely fills the space. And you just keep going like this, down, down, down. might not be the prettiest way to do this in the world, because you can tend to see the plastic sticking out a little bit when you're done, but you know what? I'd rather have lower heating bills than pristine looking windows during the winter. It's kind of nice because this plastic, it really is just so incredibly easy to work with and flexible. And have I mentioned it's cheap? It can fill the spaces, it can fill big spaces, it can fill small spaces. You can see I'm getting down into the corner here, and you can just keep packing this stuff right around the corner. I think by now, maybe you've got an idea of just how easy it is and how well this stuff works. Now, you got to realize that this doesn't actually create another layer across the window that provides dead air space. It would provide some additional insulation. I mean, the window is still cold. I do have storm windows, so I do have at least one semi-dead air space between the inside window and the storm windows on the outside. That's really the only drawback to this, is it doesn't provide an extra layer of dead air space to help with insulation. This is primarily to help with air infiltration. But as old as these windows are, they're so loose and the air infiltration is so bad that just getting the air infiltration taken care of is like 90% of the battle. And I will do the 90% quickly and easily, and someday I'll worry about the other 10%. And so on. I've gotten stuff jammed in along the front of the bottom. And remember, there's also still some additional plastic under the bottom of the window. And so I just keep going, jamming the plastic in there, packing it down, jamming it in, packing it down, jamming it in, packing it down. Guys have got to love doing stuff like this, don't they? And here is a spot where the window actually gets a lot tighter. So it's almost, all I have to do is just barely jam the plastic in there and it fills up the crack really well. And we have finally come back to the top side of the window. I'm just gonna tear off last little bit of plastic there, maybe get my screwdriver up here, finish packing the plastic down into the sash weight cord area. And there you have it. I have done the entire bottom pane of my window all the way around. I have no more air infiltration coming through there, and I've just saved a couple of dollars on my heating bills. So by now I hope everybody's got an idea just how quick, just how easy this is. You can just stop watching the video, click like if you think it helped you a little bit. I'm going to switch to some time delay, time-lapse photography to finish up these 3 windows and give you a final tally on exactly how long it really takes me to do a window. So there you have it, with a capture rate of frame every 6 seconds, replay rate of 24 frames a second. That means I'm doing roughly a pane every about 8 minutes or so, which isn't really that bad. I hope this helps you out. Good luck keeping your house warm this winter.